Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today is a great day and I'm so excited to go over with you what my everyday warm-up routine is and also some of my favorite stretches. Let's hop into the video. First thing that I do at the gym is I ride the assault bike. I don't use the arm thing. The bike is great to warm up your legs, especially I started riding the bike because I was getting knee pain when I would start squatting. So if I warm up my legs before you prep your legs before you start your workout, that has helped me so much. So that is a great thing to incorporate, especially the bike, because you're really just moving those knees and it's not like high impact. Great thing to start off with. Next, we're gonna do shoulder elevated hip thrusts to warm up those glutes. You wanna make sure you're really squeezing those glutes at the top. If you pick your toes up while you're doing this exercise, it helps really focus everything on your glutes. You also wanna make sure that your knees are being pressed out to the side. If you need to get a band, like a booty band, and put it around your knees to make sure your knees are going out, you can do that as well. But make sure you're pushing your knees out and your feet are far enough apart. You don't want your feet to be too close together. Push them a little further apart. Really work on those glutes, squeezing the glutes. Next up, we're gonna do heel elevated glute bridges. Again, those are great for your glutes and they're also really good for your hamstring. This has worked wonders for my hamstring. If you guys are new here, I have a bad hamstring. So making sure that I warm up my hamstring is so important. With your heel elevated glute bridge, really push your heel into that bench and that's gonna give you that glute and hamstring activation while you are lifting up. At the top of the lift, you wanna try to squeeze your glute, and when you come down, you're good. And that's the movement. Next, we have forward lunges. These are also great to warm up your legs before your workout. You don't want your knee in front. You want your knee all in a line, because otherwise sometimes that causes injury and it's just not great form. You want to make sure that your back knee is also going straight down to the ground. Next, we have air squats. Great for just a great warm up in general, especially if you're about to squat. Warm it up without any weight at first. Great thing to do. Number one thing, keep those knees out, chest up, try not to lean forward, and you wanna make sure your feet are staying activated on the ground. You don't want your toes up and you don't want your heels to come up during this movement. Next, we have strict press, where you're just gonna push the bar above your head. While you're doing this, make sure that you're activating your core. Try to squeeze your glutes. You don't want your butt sticking out and your back arched. You wanna keep as tight and as straight as possible while you're performing your strict press. You don't need to pull your elbows forward for this movement. You can keep them straight like this. Don't throw your head forward. Try to keep your head neutral. You can spot something a little bit up. Next, I transition this movement into not a good morning. What are they called? Why am I blinking? Next, you're gonna transition into 15 bent over rows. Bent over rows, just like the strict press, are great for warming up your arms and your shoulders before your workout. Bent over rows also warm up your back, your upper back. During bent over rows, you wanna squeeze your shoulder blades together while you're doing it and really focus on those back muscles squeezing at the top of the movement. Moving on to reverse flies. Reverse flies are also great for back warm up and a shoulder warm up. You don't need to be super far away. As long as you're getting that activation at the end of the movement and really squeezing, it's gonna be hard and it's gonna get harder as you progress on to the higher reps. So once you hit like 10, you're gonna be like, okay, I understand, Jaimee, what you're talking about. Make sure you're squeezing those shoulder blades together. You're keeping your core tight, head up, big chest. Next movement is Y raises. With Y raises, you're gonna go into a quarter squat, as I'm doing in this video. And Y raises are great to warm your shoulders up, and yeah, just make sure you're just squeezing at the top of the movement. Again, tight core. You don't want your back to be too arched, but that's a Y raise. And that completes the warm up. Moving on to some of my favorite stretches. The first stretch that I'm gonna do is with the PVC pipe, and it's called a shoulder pass through. This is great for your shoulders. The next is also like a shoulder pass through, just a different movement. You're bringing it above your head. Shoulders, it's so important to stretch your shoulders, warm up your shoulders, because I'm sure most of you guys are like, oh yeah, I do have a bum shoulder. Like, the shoulder does give me issues. Shoulders, I've learned, have such a high injury rate. So really work on those shoulders, because you don't wanna have to deal with that. Next is gonna be a lat stretch, so your lats. What you're gonna do during this movement is you're gonna push the bar. My right foot is in front. I'm pushing with my right arm and pulling with my left, so that I'm really getting that lat stretch on my left side. So same thing would happen for the other side. Left leg in front, kind of push with your left arm and really pull with your right arm. Next stretch is a bicep stretch. You want this side, your thumb side of your hands, to be against the rig or whatever you're stretching it on. And you're literally just turning away and really feeling that stretch in your bicep. Next stretch is the couch stretch, the infamous couch stretch. I hate this stretch, but I love it at the same time. My hips are always tight. This is a great stretch for tight hips. This is a great stretch for your quad. This is just an all-time great stretch. You need this stretch in your life. Please do it. Please do it, okay? The couch stretch, I hold for like a minute on each side, and it's just do it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Just, you need it. So make sure you get a pad for under your knees. While you're doing it, you're squeezing the glutes. Next, you're gonna do a seated glute stretch. You can also do this for like 30 seconds on each side. You really wanna be pulling your knee towards your body and really stretching out as far as you can, going each direction. If you move the foot on the ground out a little bit, it'll stretch even more. So if you're like, this isn't stretching, move your foot on the ground a little bit out. Next is a forward fold to a downward dog to stretch those calf muscles out. We use our calves a lot in our movements and we forget about them, so it's just so important to stretch them. During this movement, you wanna make sure that you're really feeling the stretch. You wanna try to be pushing your heels down, trying not to let those heels come up off the ground, so you really are getting that good calf stretch. Last but not least, I have this Spider-Man stretch. So what you do is you go into a runner's lunge and you put the opposite arm that you have from your foot. You try to touch your elbow to the ground. You really feel that stretch in your hamstring and your hip. It's great for your hip. And you reach up and it feels amazing. And I usually do this like 3 to 5 times on each side. Stretching and warming up is so important for you to do, so don't forget to do it. That is it. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this video helped you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up and subscribe, and I hope everyone has a great day.